Welcome! This video is an introduction to Gen AI with tips and advice to get you going. We'll start with what Gen AI is and its key features. Then we'll scan the landscape of AI tools, including those in the news or could be most relevant to small business. Next, we'll show examples of how you can use it today. And last, we'll wrap up with some key tips and caveats when using Gen AI. First, let's understand what Gen AI is. Over the last few decades, information has taken a spectacular journey. Beginning with the start of the internet in the 1970s to the advent of the World Wide Web in 1991, information became easily accessible. Almost immediately followed the problem of finding information, which was tackled by powerful search engines. And now, due to the availability of high volumes of data and a breakthrough in machine learning in 2017, it became possible to build machines to reason and create content. This new type of technology is called Gen AI. It works by training machines on the world's knowledge, including info on the internet and from books, periodicals, music, and video. If you have a website with decent traffic, chances are that it's been crawled as training material. The world's content is used as training data to build a powerful AI mind, which is called a LLM, or large language model. LLMs can generate new text, images, audio, or video. Both ChatGPT and Google have a user text input bar that looks similar to each other. This is why many people at first treat Gen AI as a search engine. However, Google is an information retrieval engine, while Gen AI is a reasoning engine. If you are looking for specific factual info, continue to use search engines. If you are looking to think through information, use Gen AI. Let's look at an example of how Gen AI is different from search. If you asked it what other shows were on at the same time as Fresh Prince, the search engine knows you are referring to the show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but it only retrieves information on that keyword term. However, ChatGPT understands what you're asking. It breaks it down into two questions. First, what years did Fresh Prince air? Second, what other shows aired at the same time? Gen AI can think through information in many ways. At the simplest level, it can transform data by translating it into code or by extracting certain information from documents or reformatting it. It can also generate text, images, audio, and video. Every image in this video, other than logos and website screen captures, were generated with AI. Lastly, it can reason through info and summarize, ideate, analyze, and synthesize data. We'll go through examples in the next sections. Now, let's get an overview of Gen AI tools so you have a sense for what's available. This simplified Gen AI tech stack has what you need to know to get started. It includes big companies often in the news, such as OpenAI and NVIDIA, so that you can understand where they fit. First, you have the cloud hardware layer, which includes powerful chips built specifically for high-performance machine learning and graphics. These include companies like NVIDIA. Next are the cloud platforms, which use cloud hardware. Cloud platforms have data centers with hundreds of thousands of servers. These platforms, like Amazon's AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google's GCP, provide the high-scale infrastructure required to train, which means build LLMs. Next are the LLM models, which include proprietary as well as open-source LLMs. Many of the proprietary LLM companies are venture-backed, such as OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT. Another popular VC-backed LLM company is Anthropic, the maker of Claude. Last are apps companies. Most are built on top of popular LLMs to serve specific use cases, but a few have built their own LLMs. Next, let's scan some apps. Keep in mind, you may not immediately see a way to use some of these apps for your own business. However, there's value to seeing what new tools are out there as it seeds ideas. Our first stop is image generation apps. They generate pictures in many different styles. If you can describe it, image generators can create it. There are many such apps out there that have different strengths. For example, if the picture you want to create includes text, you might choose a text-tuned image generator like Ideogram. Next, there are many music generation apps, including Udio and Suno. You can create music in different styles by describing it in your prompt. Digital avatars are exploding in popularity, especially on social media, but there are business use cases as well. This video you are watching and the previous orientation video on Gen AI were made using digital avatars from an app company called Synthesia. You can make many different types of videos with avatars, including marketing and training videos. The avatar on the left was created by using open source models. The avatar's lips and movements are synced to speech and mirror the presenter's live movements. That example video is in the link. There are many apps targeted for business use. For example, Podium is an AI response generator for customers' reviews online. It has integrated workflows to Google, Facebook, and other review sites, and has lead gen and conversion capabilities. Now let's talk about the LLMs. Besides OpenAI's ChatGPT, you may have heard of others like Anthropic's Claude, Microsoft's Copilot, or Google's Gemini. How do they differ? In general, their performance stems from their origin. First, Google Search and Microsoft Bing are search engines and not Gen AI. However, the lines are blurring because Google and Microsoft are adding Gen AI to search results. You might have noticed that sometimes Google results include a section at the top labeled AI Overview. This is Google's so-called SGE, its Search Generative Experience. Search engine-based Gen AI like Google's SGE or the Microsoft version called Copilot or Perplexity, another search engine-based Gen AI, often include search engine features such as source citations. But if you need reasoning capabilities, LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude offer creativity and personalization. Keep in mind these are out-of-the-box generalizations. Your prompt makes a big impact on what output you'll get. What tool to choose depends on what you're trying to do. For specific facts and data, stick with search engines. For abstract questions, use Gen AI native engines. This example shows the difference between search engines, search-based LLMs, and Gen AI native LLMs. Let's say you forgot the name of the Violent Femme's most famous song, so you ask the different engines. As you see here, the search engines give you a factual list of their songs, but do not deduce what song they are most known for. Search-based LLMs do better. They provide an answer, blister in the sun, and also multiple sources of info. But it's mostly about the Violent Femmes and not about the song. However, Gen AI native LLMs like Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT provide the answer, blister in the sun, and then provide information about the song. Note that there are differences between the LLMs, including how verbose or brief the responses are, and the points that they emphasize. What engine to choose depends on your purposes and preferences. Next, let's introduce some simple ways to use Gen AI. This is meant as food for thought about how you can benefit from Gen AI. Consider using Gen AI to generate responses to customers' online reviews, synthesize customer feedback, and summarize meeting notes. Let's take a look at each of these. Recall Podium, the app that generates responses for customer online reviews. If you want to test out that capability, you can do that by prompting ChatGPT. Gen AI can also summarize customer feedback. First, copy and paste customer feedback into a document, or ask Gen AI in a separate step to compile feedback for you. Then prompt ChatGPT to synthesize the customer feedback. The example here is for my local McDonald's. ChatGPT identified the top 3 areas of customer dissatisfaction and quoted example reviews to justify its conclusions. The last example uses Gen AI as an assistant to summarize meetings and clarify action items. This assumes you have a tool to create a transcript from a meeting. There are multiple ways to do this, for example, using a recorder app that generates transcripts. Of course, get employees and partners' OKs before recording meetings. Then attach your meeting transcript and ask ChatGPT to summarize the discussion and list action items. These simple ways to start using Gen AI should help you start thinking about how Gen AI can help your business. Our final main section here is to arm you with best practices and caveats when working with Gen AI. Let's begin. First, you might have noticed from the prompt examples that there are certain ways to write prompts so that Gen AI can create the output you are looking for. Keep in mind the mnemonic SAIL. S stands for situation. Give the background context for the AI to understand your request. Provide the factual information or constraints it should follow. A stands for action. State exactly what you want the AI to do. Be clear and concise. L stands for layout. If you want the output a certain way, specify that format. E stands for example. Showing an example or two of what you want can guide the AI better than just describing what you want. Keep in mind that the more information you give, the better the outputs. Consider this example. If you ask Gen AI a question like, how do you make friends? It'll give a very generic answer. However, if you tell it that you just moved to Chicago and you'd like suggestions for summer activities, it knows to focus on Chicago festivals and summer events. That's the S for situation and the A for action. Now, if you wanted to know when these events take place so that you can start planning your calendar, you can refine your prompt and provide an example. Note that sometimes you may not need to specify everything. In this case, I didn't specify the layout because it was already defaulting to my preferred bullet format. However, if you would like to change the layout, for example, to have the output as a table, you can specify that in your prompt. As you work with Gen AI, you may find that sometimes it makes things up or hallucinates. For example, sometimes it makes up quotes. Here is one such hallucinated quote from ChatGPT attributed to Steve Jobs. When later asked, ChatGPT even knows that this quote is not real. The frequency of hallucinations has decreased over time, but it is still a high-profile problem of Gen AI. Hallucinations often appear convincing, so checking accuracy is crucial. Images generated by Gen AI are good but not perfect. Two common problem areas are first, body parts, especially hands, and second, text. Keep in mind this advice. First, if hands or body parts appear in images, inspect them like parents do their kids when they are just born. Are there 10 fingers and 10 toes? Second, if you create images with text, consider image generators that improve your chances of getting accurate text, such as ideogram. Between Gen AI hallucinations and image flaws, it's crucial to have a human in the loop to review Gen AI outputs before sharing them. It's important from many standpoints, including accuracy, relevance, brand consistency, ensuring that sensitive or confidential info is not exposed, avoiding bias, being compliant with legal and ethical standards, and building trust and credibility. Lastly, a word on privacy. By default, anything you share with Gen AI tools could be used as training data. For many LLMs, you can opt out of using your data to train Gen AI. The example here is for ChatGPT, where if you go to settings, you can toggle off Improve the model for everyone. Instructions on how to change your data privacy settings for other Gen AI tools are available in the Wired article referenced on this page. All right, let's wrap up so you can go experiment and learn. Today, we covered the first row as a beginner in using Gen AI. The next step is for you to build Gen AI chatbots customized for you. Don't be daunted by this. First, pick a routine task you want help with. Then it's simply writing a good, detailed prompt and saving it in the memory of the Gen AI tool so that it remembers your specific context and instructions. To save prompts, you generally need to have a paid subscription, which is around $20 per month. It's also fine to run prompts in the free tier, but you won't be able to save the prompt and will have to repeat your requests. The important thing is to continue to use and learn these tools. And to keep your sense of humor, here are a couple spots of humor that make important points about Gen AI. First, the one on the left is a Chevy dealership whose chatbot can answer advanced physics questions. This shows the ubiquity and power of Gen AI tools, which will become table stakes. The cartoon on the right shows the wide spectrum of reasoning tasks that Gen AI is capable of, including summarizing ideas and expanding them. It's a brave new world of Gen AI, and there is potential to use Gen AI to support your business in meaningful ways. Stay in touch as you continue to learn and adapt AI to your needs. I would love to hear how you are applying Gen AI to your business.